Hello, this is Stephen Allen. Yes, we're back with another Batman 66 episode review. Today, we'll be reviewing the episode The Contaminated Cowl, with, once again, the dynamic duo going up against the Mad Hatter. So, without further ado, let's get into the review. We open this episode with at a hat shop, a box shop, I should rather say, where the Mad Hatter and his men have turned up. He uses his super instant mesmerizer to essentially knock out the woman who runs the shop and steals essentially 700 hat boxes. We then go back to Wayne Manor, where Bruce is handing a sizable check to a Professor Overbeck for his scientific research. We of course get the usual Commissioner Gordon calling up essentially Batman to say the Mad Hatter is at large. The opening credits, and we get back to where we are. We find out the Mad Hatter has stolen 700 hats, but he also has escaped prison by stealing Walton Crichton's hat and of course home base. Despite the Mad Hatter being on the loose, Commissioner Gordon warns Batman that despite everything the Mad Hatter is capable of, whatever Gotham will be in for, he will stop at nothing to have Batman's cowl a part of his collection. Again, we're still keeping some continuity with the previous Mad Hatter appearance. I kind of like it. Actually, I really do like it. We then cut back after that to then Batman and Robin go back to the Batcave to do some research to find out where the Mad Hatter, next target will be. We then go back to the Mad Hatter at his hideout, where he, along with his female accomplice, are there packing away all the Mad Hatter's, hats and basically anything form of headwear. He's revealed that he's grown bored of stealing hats. However, he knows that he's criminal. However, despite that, he knows that he's a criminal through and through. But he plans to change up his tactics by using hats to steal. But he also plans to steal Batman's cowl. He reveals intricate details of his big caper. He wants to steal a priceless ruby, use a gun filled with radioactive spray, and a giant water tank, which he plans to put Batman and Robin in to drown. I like there's a bit of foreshadowing with this for the second part of the episode. We then cut back to Batman and Robin at the Batcave, still trying to figure out where the Mad Hatter plans to, target. They find out that the possible target will be a hat dress ball owned by Hattie Hatfield. I'm not making this up. It turns out that the Mad Hatter is secretly in disguise as a three-tailed pasha of Panchagora, and plans to go there and essentially steal a ruby from Hattie Hatfield's headdress, using his reliable ruby retriever. Batman and Robin make their way there and essentially burst in and start a fight with the Mad Hatter's men, who are conveniently disguised as the waiters. A bat fight breaks out, but for a refreshing change of pace, they win the fight. But the Mad Hatter quickly makes his escape by using his three-tailed hat to reveal essentially some kind of gas, and he sprays radioactive spray on Batman's cowl, and he and his boys make their escape. Batman's cowls turn bright pink, and they quickly rush back to essentially back to the Batcave. It's revealed all the Batman's cowls are in the wash, and there's none quite available. He has, however, taken a pill to essentially counteract the radiation, but he knows it's only a matter of time. He then calls up Dr. Overbeck, posing as Bruce Wayne, to essentially have him, help out his friend Batman with this incident, knowing that he is ungrateful for Wayne for giving him that check at the laboratory. As he gets there, Overbeck plans to, take the cowl off and have it decontaminated at once, though he has put Batman in a place where, he can't, harm himself. Just as that's happening, it turns out the Mad Hatter is at the place. He's knocked out the assistant and is posing as him. When he gets his opportunity, he takes Batman's cowl. Now, I think for the first time ever, this is a villain who's actually succeeded in his goal. He has successfully stolen Batman's cowl, though radioactive. However, Batman quickly comes out, revealing he has a second cowl underneath. Knowing that the Mad Hatter was planning to come, he then plans to essentially arrest him. However, they are then thrown into this essentially chamber where radioactivated, send rays of radioactivation on them, and essentially plans to kill him that way. He then knocks out the Professor Overbeck with his super instant mesmerizer, and he and his men quickly make their escape. We then end our cliffhanger there. Main cast is still pretty normal. My complaints with the Sandman and Catwoman team up with the main cast is kind of present here. I do like, however, despite that, Batman is still determined to bring the Mad Hatter, even though he knows that the Mad Hatter is gunning for his cowl. The Chief O'Hara, Police Commissioner Gordon, silly as ever, and we also find out just how more confident the policeman is, especially with the Warden Crichton at the grounds. Of course, Warden doesn't appear in this episode, but he is name dropped. Alfred and Harriet, the little scene they had, it's still fun to see. But of course, we can't keep going without talking about the Mad Hatter. David Wayne is once again back as the Mad Hatter. One thing I've always appreciated about the Mad Hatter is that his motivations are kept consistent. He still wants to get Batman's cowl, and he still essentially is a greedy son of a bitch who has hats as essentially as his gimmick. But however, I also like there's a bit of character development. Well, such as for the fact he's grown bored of stealing hats, but he knows that he wants to be a criminal, so he's changing up the tactic for hats to steal. I also feel that David Wayne is really fully embraced and fully going all out with the Mad Hatter character. However, I've also found out behind the scenes, he never really enjoyed playing the Mad Hatter. While he gave it his best effort, he never liked the show. He just felt it was cheap, and for him to be such an established actor didn't sit right with him. However, because it was so popular in season 1, they brought him back. Although he did got paid and that would have calmed his temper, he didn't really enjoy it as much, which is a real shame because the Mad Hatter is arguably one of the better villains on the show. And especially since this time around, the character's being more fleshed out, and he's essentially treated as a really legitimate threat. Again, when you're going into this and you're still thinking of the more modern day interpretation, get that out of your head. This was based on what was known as the imposter Mad Hatter, when the Mad Hatter was essentially a thief obsessed with stealing hats, particularly Batman's cowl. The contaminated cowl for me is a really fun episode. Arguably, with one of the most iconic moments of the series is with Adam West having his cowl be bright pink because of the radioactive spray. I've always enjoyed it for that much, and I also like how with this they still keep some continuity with the Mad Hatter. He still wants revenge on Batman, his hat obsession is still there, but despite everything, the one thing he truly desires is to have the Batman's cowl in his collection, and he plans to pull off a big scheme. The death trap is actually pretty interesting, being locked in, essentially radiated to death. With the science whether it would work or not, it's a pretty interesting villain death overall. And there we have it, the contaminated cowl. Join us next time when we review the episode The Mad Hatter Runs Afoul. So until next time, tune in for the same Steven hour on the same Steven channel. Ladies and gentlemen, so long for now.